things is they have to have a list of their beneficial owners. Beneficial owners means that you must know the human being who owns the company. So this is the first law that must be put into place.
Coisas que acontecem em todo o mundo é a questão da transparência. É importante saber quais são os beneficiários das empresas e saber como estão a trabalhar.
The second thing, I'm speaking in pieces so it's easier. The second thing is that the country must start doing court cases, for example, for people that didn't now voluntarily return the money that they took away from the government coffers during the previous regimes. So here, they already did the voluntary return. Now, for those who are not doing the voluntary return, it is time to file court cases.
A questão que tem a ver com o repatriamento de capitais e ativos, para quem não fez de forma voluntária, é o momento agora de haver casos no tribunal para exigir que todo mundo que não fez este repatriamento de forma voluntária estejam a contas com os tribunais.
Corremos então este risco de entrar para a lista cinzenta este ano.
So we risk to go to the grey list this year.
Yes, in October you will know if you're on the grey list or not. It's also what I'm working very hard on with the government to make sure that all the rules and policies that need to be put in place and all the systems that need to be rolled out are done so that you are not put on the grey list.
Sim, em outubro vamos realmente saber se vamos para a lista cinzenta ou não, mas é um trabalho que tem estado a ser feito com todos os sistemas, com o governo, todo o mecanismo possível para ver se o país não vai para esta lista cinzenta.
Quais são as consequências de ir para a lista cinzenta?
What are the consequences if the country goes to the grey list?
All the consequences are not known, but the first thing that happens is that transactions that normally come into the country, there are countries like the OECD member states who will withhold 25% of the transaction. So for example, if you're an insurance company and somebody is making an insurance claim here in Angola, the insurance company here will only receive 75% of the claim from an insurance company either in Europe, North America or Canada, so mainly the OECD member states.
Não são sabidas ainda as consequências principais, mas falando de transações, se o país ficar nesta lista, vai apenas recuperar 25% de toda a transação feita, porque 75%, aliás 75% mais 25% dá 100, então os 25% não poderá recuperar. Então é um trabalho que tem de ser feito, esta é uma das consequências e as outras não são sabidas.
There is another problem that is even bigger. You are trying to diversify the economy here. If you're put on the grey list, any companies that were even thinking of coming will not come because it will not be worthwhile for them to set up business. So you will lose some of the businesses that are here, and whatever you were hoping to gain, all the money you've spent on the Lobito corridor, for example, all of that will not make a profit.
Todo o dinheiro que foi gasto no corredor do Lobito não vai ter proveito. Vocês têm muita gente que quer diversificar e é um plano do governo angolano, diversificar a economia, e se o país estiver nesta lista, é uma grande consequência que não haverá diversificação da economia. Os investidores não quererão vir no país e assim não haverá diversificação da economia.
Which is why I say all stakeholders must work together. Private sector, public sector, citizens. You have to come together and solve this problem.
Por isso que eu disse que todos os parceiros têm de trabalhar juntos, os parceiros privados, os parceiros estatais, todos juntos têm de trabalhar.
Falou também do problema da questão do endividamento em Angola, da dívida externa, embora não tenha tido tantos detalhes, tanta informação que o governo angolano passou, mas é um facto de que Angola não se pode endividar mais, certo?
So you talk about external debt of Angola, although you don't have a lot of data. So what can you say? Angola cannot get more debt?
No, it can get. Actually, people want to give Angola more money. Really, they do. Because you've been so good at paying off your debt. So they want to give you more money at higher interest rates. You have to be more targeted. You have to pick money which you can make profitability on, that you can pay back. You have to make sure that there are no leakages in government. You have to make sure that we can say corruption, but you can say leakages in the system must stop.
Angola pode sim se endividar, porque Angola é um país que paga bem as suas dívidas, mas daquilo que vejo é que podem existir mais taxas maiores de juros. Então é necessário que acabem alguns problemas. Estamos a falar do problema de corrupção, por exemplo, que é um problema muito sério. Então Angola tem de ver estas questões, mas sim pode mais se endividar.
Not on a grey list, so they're not going to be put back, which is what you said. It will be, maybe they will be put on the grey list. So there are two types of transactions. There is the domestic transactions from one bank to another. These ones, I see the delays sometimes can even be 2 weeks. There is no reason for this delay. So this must be fixed, because for a company that is in the country doing business with another company or a person in the country, they should be able to pay for goods and services domestically.
Nós vimos que existem problemas de transações domésticas neste país. Ouvimos falar que passam até 2 semanas e não há razão para isso. 2 semanas para transações comerciais entre empresas, por exemplo, e não há absolutamente razão para isso.
Okay. For the international transactions that you're referring to on the Forex, you unfortunately had a war here. With the war, there was a breakdown of trust between the state and the people and the government, and so they don't trust the system. The slowness in the system means the trust is not being rebuilt. So government and private sector must work very hard on rebuilding people's trust so that they put money in the bank. They're not putting money in the bank because the transactions are not moving, so they have to go somewhere else. So first they need to fix at the domestic level. Once they fix at the domestic level and people feel like they can trust the system, because it's really a question of trust, then the transactions will open up, because then they will be able to deal with the forex as well. The other thing I noticed is I don't see foreign exchange bureaus here, so that means that there is a cash market which is informal. If you allow that to continue, that will happen. So there are ways: you regulate, you license, and you have a forex bureau operating. So you don't have too much capture of all the business of finance in one type of entity. So you have your banks, you have your forex exchanges, you have credit unions, you have multiple spaces and places to store money.
Portanto, na questão internacional é uma questão de confiança, quebra de confiança no sistema. Vocês tiveram uma guerra muito longa e o que eu vi é que exatamente esta confiança não foi recuperada. Deve ser recuperada primeiro a questão doméstica, que tem a ver com as transações domésticas, depois a transação internacional vai ser feita. Também vi que existem poucas casas de câmbio formal neste país. Significa dizer que as remessas internacionais estão mais no sistema informal. É uma questão de confiança, depois vão se criar algumas uniões também. Estamos a falar de uniões de créditos, cooperativas de crédito, e assim vai recuperar a confiança perdida.
And the other intervention which I've also suggested to them is when they sign debt agreements in future, they must allow the debt to enter the country. So the moment it lands here, there's your forex. That will open up the space. Then you make the partial payments. You break down the payments. So you're able to play with a day here, a day there, and then you can make the payments for others as well. So you can actually sliver off a part. Not that you're not paying, you're just allowing the money to circulate in the economy and get it to be used 3 or 4 times before it goes back out. Because there's different ways of doing it. One, if you do the direct cash into the local currency, into Kwanzaa, then you've already lost its use. But if you allow it to move, this person pays this person, who pays this person, who pays this other person, then you've sorted out many problems domestically before it goes back out again.
Os conselhos que eu dei ao Governo de Angola é a questão da dívida. A dívida deve primeiro vir para o país, o dinheiro deve circular no país, circular na economia, e neste caso vocês terão dinheiro, divisas no país. E se quiserem transferir estas divisas para Kwanzaa, vai perder o seu valor.
But where is this debt money now? It's not coming into the country?
So I have not seen the transactions. I haven't seen the contracts yet. But I have some idea based on the way I see the system moving. And what I can see is there were, for example, debt for oil trade. So, for example, you sell the oil, the money doesn't come into the country, it goes straight away to pay the debt. But instead of letting it go outside, just let it come in. deal with it here, and then even if you delay by 15 days, there's a possibility, but it will require them to renegotiate these agreements if that is what the clauses are. So this is what I'm hoping to see, that if there is those kind of interventions, those are things we can try and fix. Yeah. Thank you.